Okay, so lines. If we look at my digital Mondrian, I have 2 vertical lines and 3 horizontal lines. I'm going to start with the longest lines first because I think that makes sense, mostly. And then I'll do the shorter lines later. Longer first, shorter later. Yeah, something like that. So that vertical line is the longest. So it's going to go here-ish. So the way that this works is we have a coordinate plane. This top point up here is 0, 0. This bottom point down here is whatever the maximum size of my space is, my canvas is. So that is not 1000, 1000 because that's just a rectangle that's going off way out there somewhere. For mine, that's 400, 300 because I said that was how large the SVG is. So 0, 0, 400, 300. So X goes this way, Y goes this way, right? So for my first line, the way that we do this, we open a new element with the angle bracket. We type line. We need an x1, which is going to be the starting point, and we equals a place for the value, and then y1, which is the other starting point, right? Because we need both a point for the x and a point for the y to actually specify where it goes. And then we need an ending point. So x2, which will equal something, and y2, which will equal something. And then we close it with a slash and a right angle bracket. Now we need the points. So I said that I want this top square to be actually a square, right? The same width and height. So I don't know exactly what I want that to be, but I think 100 looks decent. So on the x, I want 100. And then on the y, I'm going to put 0 for right now, although I have that little gap there. And then down here, I want it to be a straight line, right? I want it to be parallel with the side. So the x doesn't change, right? This width doesn't change anywhere along here. Only the y changes. So this stays 100. And the y, if I want it to go all the way down to the bottom, needs to be 400 because that is the height of my canvas. So 400. If I run it, where is it? Lines have no fill. Fill is by default black, but lines don't have a fill because they're 2-dimensional, right? They're not 3-dimensional. There's no area to fill. Instead, we need an outline. So I need to add a stroke. Okay, so we need a stroke width, and let's try 6. And maybe a stroke color, black. There we go. Okay, so fill has a default color, stroke doesn't. Stroke width, is there a default width? I think there might be a default width. I think it might be 1. If I delete that, okay, default width is 1. So I definitely like the 6 better. Maybe it's a little thick. Maybe I want 5. Anyway, something along those lines, and I think that looks pretty good. Now, I could do the horizontal, right? And that might be easier. I'll go ahead and do the horizontal, and then I'll come back and do that vertical one. I think doing the vertical one later is a little bit easier because of it terminating into that horizontal line. So I'm going to copy and paste this. Easier to copy and paste. Why retype everything? And then let's see, if this one's going across here and I want this to be a square, then that means that this needs to be 100, right? This is 100, so that means this needs to be 100. So the y value will be 100. This one's going to be 0 because I want it to start on this axis, right? And then I want it to go to the end, right? So this stays 100 because it's going to be the same height all the way across, but this x value needs to change to be the width of the canvas, so 300. So if I run that, looks good. Now I need the one down here. I'm not sure how much space that is down there, but I'm gonna guess maybe 120, something like that. So I'm going to copy another one of these. don't appreciate the indentions. I understand, but I don't appreciate them. So I'm thinking this is 120 down here. Now that's not 120 as a coordinate, so I need to actually figure out what it is from the top. So that's going to be like 400 minus 120, so like 320, something like that. And then the y2 needs to match because I want them to be parallel to the bottom, right? And now I just need to figure this out. So I know x2 goes to 300, that's this far side. x1, if it's starting on this line, I know this is 100, so it should start at 100. Okay, that's not as much as I thought. Oh, I see what I did. I did 400 minus 80, not 400 minus 120. So this should actually be 280 and 280. Math is hard when you are talking. There we go. That looks better. It's a little bit larger actually than I think I want it to be, but it's close. I don't know. Maybe 285. You can play with yours and figure out where you want those lines to be. That actually, yeah, I think that's better. That slight difference, I think, is what I wanted. I've got two more lines. This little one over here, and then this vertical one. So now I'm going to do this horizontal one over here, because I've been doing horizontal, so I think it's easier to stick with horizontals until that last one. And I know it needs to stop on this line, so that means that the x2 this time is 100, and I want it to start on this line on the axis, so I know that the x1 is 0, and now I need to figure out this. I do want it a little bit further down, so maybe this is like, maybe this is 320. I'm just guesstimating and trying it and then changing it if I don't like it. That's pretty close. Maybe 315. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Now I just need this last little vertical line. Now I've left no spaces between these because they're all horizontals. I'm going to go up here and put this last vertical line up here with this one just so that my lines are a little bit better organized in case I come back and play with it later. So now this one is going to go here, and this does not look very big to me. Maybe like, I don't know, 30 pixels? I'm not sure. So if it's 30 pixels, and I'm saying the width is 300, then that needs to be 300 minus 30, so like 270. And the x value stays the same, right? So 270. Right? Now if I draw this, it's going to go all the way down, which I'll show you. But I want it to start here. Actually, I kind of like that. No, I'm going to stick to my plan. So this line, that was the second horizontal line, that line is at 285. So if I change the y there to 285 and change this one to 2... Uh-oh. Am I doing it right? Nope. I changed the x, not the y. 285 and 285. Got to keep your axes straight. And I run it. So this one stays 400 because it goes down to the bottom. This one becomes 285 because it's the starting point. So I run this. There we go. I'm pretty happy with that. The only thing I want to change now is those little gaps on my drawing to not go all the way to the edge. So this first line right here, this first line, that first vertical one, which is why it was good that I kept things fairly organized, I'm not going to start at 0. I think I'm going to start at like 5? 5? Maybe 7. Yeah, like 7. Okay. And then my other vertical line, this other vertical line, that's this one down here, I do have a little gap there. So they're going to make this one go to 393. I think that gap of 7 is nice. Okay. And I've got a gap on my first horizontal line. That's this one right here. So this is going to go to, is it this one? Yeah. Yeah, this is going to go to 293, right? I'm going to keep that gap of 7. I think it looks good. Okay. And then I've got one over here. So this is my first, second, third horizontal line, so down here. So this is going to actually start at 7, right? So here's a starting point, move it over 7. Alright, I think I've got all my gaps. Cool. Okay, so in the next video, I'll add my colors.